In times of old, when noble man and women did race for the Kingdom Grandprix tournament, across the 5 lands of Barth Gadol, the fat-haired demon Wing, the bearded necromancer, and the pink-haired horny fairy did come together in their various craft to race the kingdom, and thence the Kingdom Grandprix was born. Long before the Formula 1 season started, there were enemies abound the courses, which required bullets to move them out of our way while racing. Fire-breathing ships, spell-casting fairies did fly through these lands, casting power-up weapons into the almighty foes that stood in their way. Not a circular course was this, with corner, apex, chicane and straight. This was a course flying over the land, over islands, temples, into caves and through oceans. Many a scary enemy did lurk in these skies. No, that did not fall prey to my bullet and my axe. The jewel-titted whore of Cardiff Bay, the hairy one-eyed preacher from Basingstoke, the foul-smelling swamp master from Swindon, the mind-bending grey-crested hair monster from Peterborough, the bearded faggot from Brighton, the acid-spitting jockey from Newport, the disabled benefits cheat from Haringey, the one-armed underwater parking ticket inspector from Chester. They took leave of their homes and families, one and all, to race to the death on these cruel lands. On other levels, did fires ring from the bows of an almighty blimp travelling across the skies of Jeddle's Worthy.
Okay, apologies for that. Almost lost my voice there. So what we got here, we've got Shippu Mahou Daisakusen for the Sega Saturn. Converted, indeed written in the first place by Raizing for the arcade 1993. This was the second game in the series of the Sorcerer Strike games. The first one, Mahou Daisakusen 1992, was a standard fare vertical shooter. Also converted to the FM Towns, although you can't play it on the Marty because it doesn't have enough RAM. So the sequel, Shippu Mahou Daisakusen, was converted to the Saturn in about 1994, give or take a year, maybe 95, and it was a racing game. It's not many games out there that try and do 2 jobs at once, and I don't think this game is very successful. It's okay as a shooter. It really is no better than the first game in the series as a shooter. And as a racing game, it's really very poor indeed. The only way to speed up is to fly at the top of the screen, in which case you can see the speedometer go up a bit. If you fly towards the bottom of the screen, then you get overtaken by all the other players and you come last. I've never worked out what the difference is. I think it's just in points. I've never got to the end of the game. There are 2 loops, so it might be that at the end of the first loop there's some kind of score you get for your position in the Grand Prix. But anyway, like I say, I don't think it really succeeds as a racing game because You can't fly at the top of the screen all the time, there's too much stuff flying around at you. And it sort of puts you off playing it as a good shooter. Some of the characters are also a lot slower than others. The fairy is probably the quickest character, and there's this god-awful tank, which is the slowest character. One interesting feature of this game is the branching levels, a bit like Outrun. First level is always the same, and then thereafter, every time you complete a level, you get the choice of the next 2 levels. The game doesn't branch any deeper than that sort of left or right. You always get the same left-hand option and the same right-hand option, no matter which path you take. And then towards the end, you get 3 options rather than 2. Okay, about powering up. There's an H weapon and an F weapon. So each character has 2 types of weapon which you can power up. And obviously when you get hit, you lose your power-ups, which can be frustrating because they do take quite a while to build up, and some of them are a bit feeble. But overall, the weapons are pretty nice in this game. You've got, the wiggly lasers, your Vulcans, your bubbles, a few spells here and there, and smart bombs, pretty good, quite colourful. Good selection of bosses. I particularly like the kind of amoeba there on the right and the Dracula on the left. Pretty tough. I'd be very impressed to see someone 1cc this game. I tend to take all 8 credits before I die. You can have up to 8 credits. Difficulty, this is being played on normal. But of course you have anything from beginner to very hard, and this is hard enough on normal. The bullets are really pretty intense in this game. The P's are obviously power-ups. The yellow coins, and like I say, the H powers up one of your weapons to the next level. The F changes the weapon to the second type. Can be annoying because sometimes you don't see the letters on screen for very long, as they generate from particular types of nymph. I think when you shoot them, they'll come flying down the screen, and most of the time you can only pick one up. Likewise, when you die, I never like it in a game where you die and the power-ups are released, but you haven't got time to actually catch them all. Right, time for some summing up. It's a Raizing game, so you've got to be kind to it. They were an awesome company responsible for Battle Garega, etc. But I'm giving this only 7 for graphics, 6 for playability because it's actually quite irritating, and a 7 overall. Not my best score so far, and I hope that doesn't anger any of you out there. Thanks for watching.